Hello, we are back. This is Rich's son,
And this is Angel.
and we are back with another episode of
Lies.
Lies.
Oh my god.
Decided to do that because it's never a good thing, I guess. Yeah, today we're going to talk about lies. Is it ever a good time to lie? Is it ever okay to lie? And why do people lie?
And what kind of lies is there? Because there are many lies. So we're going to start with maybe introduction of
why do people lie? Well, I'm sure we've all lied once in our life. Let's say we wanted a day off of work, or, you know, we didn't want to see that person that day, right? Oh, where were you? Oh, I was in a meeting. Meanwhile, it could actually be Saturday.
Yeah.
So yeah, and sometimes people lie because they don't want to hurt somebody's feelings. So that's a good one, right?
Yeah.
There's actually different names for lies, which I actually had no idea.
There's commission, there's omission, and there's influence.
Influence.
Yeah.
So I actually didn't know that, but let's see if you have ever done one of these types of lies before. So let's get started with commission. A commission lie is, oh darling, do I look good in this dress?
Absolutely.
Oh, thank you. Meanwhile, you fully well know that the dress is super ugly and she doesn't look cute, but in the dress, but you don't want to tell them. So I would actually, I've always said though that I've always wanted somebody to be super honest with me. Like, if it doesn't look good, tell me, because I'm not going to walk out like that. I would rather somebody tell me that there's something stuck in my tooth rather than that. I think that's kind of a lie. It's like when you say nothing. And I think that's one of them, right?
That's, I believe, influence is when you don't add the negative part within the lie. So when a person says, hey, is that neighborhood a good neighborhood to live in? And they say, yeah, it's a great neighborhood. My neighbors are amazing people, but you left out the part that the person across the street is a complete doink, right?
Right.
So that's leaving out the negative parts within the lie.
We fast forwarded a little bit, so
Sorry.
let's jump back up. I know that was my fault. So we're gonna jump back up to, would you do that? Let's go back to commission. Would you do that if somebody asked you, like your best friend said, should I wear this shirt? Does it really look good? Have you ever done that before? Comment down below and let us know if you've ever done that. Have you ever done that?
I'm straightforward. I tell it like it is. I'm sorry. I'm a Taurus, so I'm pretty straightforward. You ask me something, I'm going to tell you the truth. I'm not going to sit there and like make you feel good about yourself. I'll do it in a nice way, you know. Yeah, it looks okay, but I think this would look better. Or, you know, maybe your hair can go up instead of leaving it down. Like things like that.
Yeah, so I am pretty honest when it comes to clothes and fashion and what you should wear and what you shouldn't.
Yeah.
And so I would always appreciate somebody saying, not that today.
But I'm not going to turn around and say you're, oh my God, you look huge or fat in that, because that's just putting the other person down. Yeah.
We don't want to do that. We're talking about the clothes, not the person.
Yeah.
So the next one is omission, which is kind of like, where did you go that day? But you tell them everything, but you kind of miss out a point, I think. Yeah.
So when someone's like, oh, where did you go, sweetheart? And your sweetheart says, oh, I went to the store. Not saying that you went to the store to go pick up some next person.
Right. Or, you missed out that little.
You're missing that part. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a huge one. I would definitely, have you ever done that before? Yeah, I think I can't even lie, I think I have omitted that. In terms of like, what did you do today? I think I might omit that I might have gone to, I went to the grocery store and then I might have stopped off at the mall and bought myself something. Yeah, so I definitely do that when it comes to mission. Not all the time, but Yeah.
A lot of people, like, if you don't want to tell them certain things, a lot of people do that, and they don't realize that it is a lie, because you're not fully telling the entire truth.
Exactly.
You're hiding something out, so that has its own agenda. We all do that. I do it a lot.
I mean, you have to kind of lie when it's like a surprise birthday party.
Yeah.
So that's all right. So there is kind of maybe a good time to lie. Maybe is when you want to surprise somebody and you don't want to tell them something, and you want to get other people involved to sort of surprise them. So I think that might be the only time it might be a good time to lie.
Sometimes when
maybe
people ask you certain things that you don't want them knowing because of the way the person is towards you. Like if someone was to say, oh, so is your man cheating? And then you're just kind of like, oh, we've been happily married for like 15 years. You're kind of, you know, leaving out the fact that, yeah, he's cheating. But you don't want that person to know. So, of course, you're going to change the subject.
Right. Definitely.
Because it's none of their business anyway, right?
Very true.
So
Very
sometimes
true.
we do that because we don't want them to be a part of that business.
So I guess the question is then, why did people lie? I guess that ties into that. And I guess sometimes people lie because they don't, well, first, they don't want to get in trouble.
Yeah.
They don't want to be judged. That's a huge one. And they could actually just be pretty fearful or lack confidence. And so it's better for them to, you know, not tell the truth because they're not sure of the other person's reaction. And they might not just want to go through the whole motion of all of that interaction. Is that okay to do that, though, when should you fault that person, I guess?
You shouldn't fault that person, but it's a lack of trust, right? You have to trust another person. If they're going to lie to you, you're not going to trust them, right? So there's also a difference between compulsive lying and just telling a white lie because you're trying to avoid a situation.
Right.
A lot of people, you know, depending on where they fall between, I don't think lying's a good thing.
I think it's a good thing if you're at the club and there's someone, they ask your name, and I'm not going to tell anybody what my name is at the club because then, you know, people know. But yeah, I use it then. Or like when women like give a fake number because they just don't want to avoid the thing or kind of confront the situation of like, I'm just not into you. Because sometimes women can turn around and say, I'm just not into you, and the person will still persist. So it's easier to just give them a fake phone number. It's kind of tough now because it's cell phones. So they're like, hey, I'll call you so you can get my phone number. It's good. I'm good. It's on vibrate. That's what I would do in those situations. But yeah, no, I hear you. It's never a good time.
Sometimes it's not a good time to lie. It affects the other person as well, the person that you're lying to. Like, if you blatantly full out tell a lie and you're, like, making up an entire scenario or a situation, for what cause?
And sometimes people can get so caught up in their lies that they actually believe them.
Yeah.
And it becomes truth in their eyes. Not to others, but to them. And then they sort of maybe fall off and, you know, people no longer talk to you, and you lose that connection because people don't want to mess with people who are not truthful and honest with them, right?
Yeah, you lose that trust. So then everyone labels you as a liar, so they don't believe anything that you say.
Right. And when you really need the help, you most likely won't get it because people know your track history. So
it's like that story, The Boy Who Cried Wolf.
Exactly. Right? Yeah, that's very true. Doing that for attention when in actuality it's not necessary, right? And to maybe kind of find out the root of why you might lie, if you are a compulsive liar, and work towards growing honesty within yourself, because maybe that's something, is that you constantly are trying to avoid your authentic self. And maybe that's something that you should look into in terms of just checking yourself in the mirror and saying, this is who I am. And if people don't like it, well,
too freaking bad.
Exactly. I was going to say something else, but
we're PGing it today.
Yeah, exactly. yeah, anything else really about lying? So remember those 3. Pay attention to those ones. If you know anybody who's doing it, if you happen to be doing it yourself. Commission, which is kind of lying to not hurt somebody's feelings. Omission is leaving out, which is kind of makes sense, omitting part of the truth. And influence. So you're sort of not giving the direct answer. You're sort of tiptoeing around it. So influencing
is avoiding the question.
Yeah.
Altogether.
Yeah. So pay attention to those. And
my question to you is, if someone close to you was to lie to you about something, how would that make you feel?
It would hurt me 100%. I totally lose 100% trust in that person right away. It all gets shattered to the ground.
So how would you be able to rebuild that and regain your trust from them after a lying moment?
That's a hard one. I can't even, I am a...
Like if they lied, just say like they lied to you one time and you catch them in the lie, but you don't confront them about it. How do you confront a person who has lied? That you love and care about, of course, right?
That's a tough piece. Sometimes I do this. It's just kind of weird. I kind of confront myself first and kind of figure out how I'm going to deal. I analyze everything. I'm a Libra, so we do that. We analyze everything down to a T as to
2 sides.
Right. So I'll always go with 2 sides of why that person might have done it. And then I try to sort of, I'm also a little bit of a Scorpio, so I try to tame the fire a little bit by trying to sort of understand perhaps their background. So I kind of go behind the lie and then behind the person who did it. And then I analyze more into like, how they grew up and stuff. I really go down to that like detail, and I do that with myself, but I can also get hot tempered too, and if a person does it more than once, I'm not gonna mess with you anymore. Like, I'm just not. I'm different now. So I think maybe back in the day, I would probably like confront the person and say like, you hurt my feelings. Like, why wouldn't you like trust me of all people? Like, I could care less. I'm a really non-judgmental person. But at the same time, I'm in a stage now in my life, maybe because I'm just a little bit older now, is that the minute I find out you're doing that and you're not part of my family, I'm not messing with you anymore. Like, that's it. Like, I will mess with you, but I have huge boundaries up, and I'm going to protect myself 100%. And then I flip all of my trust back to myself. Yeah. Every single time. And I'll say, you know what? Right. Because you know what they say, trust not in man, but in God, right?
And Creator.
And Creator. So, yeah, man. And that's exactly where I go. So I'm like, yeah, that's right, Rashida. I should have just trusted my instinct or trusted that. And I've done that a lot. So if it's a family member and you want, or if it's a parent to a child, definitely you got to confront them. I'm not going to lie. Yeah. My mom would say I was a huge liar, and it totally was. But I now as an adult can look back and realize why I did a lot of that. And I did a lot out of fear. And lack of stuff. So I had friends around me who had a lot and I didn't. So I would, do and say things to try to fit in. Yeah, and to impress them. And now I have kids and I'd be like, no, don't ever do that. But I'm a totally different person now. I'm confident in myself and I want to instill that onto my kids. Yeah. So it's just a different time and a different era and how to deal with that. If it's somebody you don't really mess with too often and they're lying and you find out and you're like, what? Because I've been in those situations where I'm like, how could this person not tell me this and like make up this whole story? I now, I
know a lot of people like that.
That really shocks me because I'm the last person you would want to even lie to. Like, you want me in your corner.
What gives you a reason to come to me with this lie?
Right.
Like, what good reason do you have to even lie in the first place?
For that. Yeah. But I just know that just shows that person's character to mess with anybody who has a questionable character.
Yeah, I agree.
So yeah, affirmation for this topic is,
I speak full truth.
And I am surrounded by trustworthy people.
Yeah.
So say those a few times, and always remember that when you say those things, it vibrates out and comes back to you.
I agree.
So thanks for watching. We hope for you to come back, share with your friends and family, like and subscribe.
And comment.
Yep, comment down below. And yeah, we're also thinking about changing our name. So if you have any ideas for that, please put that down in the comments as well. So thanks for watching. Bye.
Bye. See you next time.